Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about tips for learning human anatomy, and also it is a motivational talk for medical coding students out there. But we're going to talk about that at the end because that's just an add-on for today. If you are new to my channel, I am Blue. I am a medical coder. I have been in the health information management field for over 10 years. I really love what I do, and I hope that by sharing my experiences with you guys, that it will help you in some way. And even if you're not a medical coder, you're just in the healthcare field and you want to know tips about my study tips for learning human anatomy, I'm glad you're here. And I hope by the end, if this has helped you, that you all will share it and give it a thumbs up. And let's get started. Okay, so the body, right? The human anatomy. This is something that we as medical coders do have to know, okay? Along with like everything else, like the organs and things like that, the bones are very important, particularly if you are working in the ER setting, or if you're working in orthopedics, if you're working in podiatry. These are when it's really, really important. And even if you're working in a rheumatology type clinic, these conditions can often affect the bones. So it's very important that you understand the anatomy and also like your directions and things like that. The best way that I came up with when I was in school was to literally break it down in sections. Okay, there's no way because we're born with 270 bones. Okay, as we age, they fuse. Some of them fuse together, and so we end up with 207 bones. Yes, you can memorize the entire 207, but do you know where they are? You know, it's one thing to memorize the bones, but it's another thing to actually know where they are on the body. Okay, so I did take note of some little interesting factoids. I think this is going to be more of an ongoing type series, talking about anatomy and probably like medical terminology and things like that, because there is so much to learn, and I don't want to just leave you guys sort of in the lurch about it, because it is so important, like I said, to know and get it, you know. But once you get it, then you got it. But yes, if you'll indulge me, I will end up making this a series. I don't know how often or what the frequency will be, but I'll figure it out, and I hopefully you all will be on the journey with me. Okay, so the skeleton can be broken into the axillary skeleton and the appendicular. I always get that word. The appendicular skeleton. So the axial skeleton is made up of the head and the trunk of the vertebra. Okay, so that is that part. Okay, then you have your appendicular skeleton, right, which is composed of the upper limbs, the lower limbs, the pectoral girdle, and the pelvic girdle. So if you want to break it down when you're studying by those sections, then that would be good, because then you can just sort of concentrate on one section at a time. When it comes to learning like the intricate details of the bones and where they are, the hand has 27 bones, the foot has 26 bones, and 33 joints. It's quite impressive that the smallest part of our bodies, right, is or the skeleton is really the ones that has the most bones in, you know, packed into a little tiny place. I strongly recommend that you start learning mnemonic devices. So a mnemonic device, if you don't know what it is you think of a phrase to associate those words. Okay, for example, you have the carpal bones. There are 8 carpal bones, okay? And the carpal bones are right here, okay? Or probably like more like right here, like right here, okay? And they're all here, and they're all in their little detail area, right? So you have the scaphoid, the lunatum, or the lunatum, the triquetrium, the pisiforme, or pisiform, whatever, however you say it, the trapezium, the trapezoid, the capitate, and the hamate. The best way to remember those in their order, the mnemonic device is sum levers, tri, positions they can't handle. Okay, so when you think of that phrase, the first letter of each word is associated with that particular bone, right? So some would be related to the scaphoid. Lovers would be the lunatum. The tri would be with the triquetrium. Positions would be for the pisiform, and they is the trapezium and also the trapezoid. And then C for capitate or cant, right? Capitate. And handle is for hamate. So when you put those words together, you think of that phrase, then you could think, oh, I need a word that starts with an S, an L, a T, and that kind of thing. So it really does help to commit it to memory. I used that particular phrase when I was in school because they did test us in that section about human anatomy. When I was taking anatomy and physiology, I did have to learn that. So not all programs are the same, but it is always good to know, especially if you are working in a clinic where they're doing a lot of hand surgeries and things like that. So again, it is very helpful if you can come up with some sort of funny mnemonic device. And I'll probably post more in the in the series. And then for the spine, right? Because there's several bones in the vertebra, right? Or the vertebrae. So if you think about it, just think about the cervical, the thoracic, and the lumbar. There's several bones in each section. But how do you remember how many bones are in that section? Well, you could think of it during the day, right? You have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What time do you have breakfast? 7 a.m., right? So that you can sort of correlate that, the cervical has 7 vertebrae. Okay, 7 a.m., 7 vertebrae. So it's cervical, okay? And for lunchtime, you have lunch at 12, right? So for the thoracic, there are 12 vertebrae. Okay, you see how that works? Okay, and then for dinner, it's at 5 o'clock. You have 5 lumbar vertebrae. So that's a good way to remember how many bones are in that section of the spine. Okay, very, very easy. Something just really quick to commit to memory. Just something really quick like that. But that was probably my favorite one, the spine association thing. And then the carpal bones, that was my favorite one. Some lovers try positions that they can't handle. Oh, I forgot to put they. That's what it was. Some lovers try positions that they can't handle. Okay, that's where the 2 T's is at. Okay. I was writing it down, and we had a little bit of excitement outside. There was 2 houses that were on fire earlier. They got it out very quickly, thank goodness. But it was enough to scare a bunch of people, and so that's why I'm late filming, because there was a lot of noise earlier, and of course I did not want to be filming and then all this stuff is going on out there, but everybody's okay, thank goodness. It was just a fire. So, but yeah, that was what happened. And but that was why because I was writing it down fast, and I didn't I didn't think. But you guys get the idea. You guys can figure that out. But yes, look for different mnemonic devices to help you. There are so many out there on the web, and you can look and see which one would be most helpful for you. This is sort of makes it a game to sort of remember. It's always good to associate like games and things like that when you're trying to remember things, and it would make it so much easier. So once you have that really good foundation with your medical terminology and your anatomy, and even your organs and things like that, if you remember all of those, it's going to be really, really easy for you. That's where your good foundation starts, is having that good base. And then the coding stuff is pretty much going to be easier for you to figure out. Let's see, what else? Yeah, like I said, I will be doing a series on that. But that is something that you have to do. You have to pace yourself when it comes to learning the bones. Pace yourself, because it's going to be a lot and you may get overwhelmed. So don't do that. Don't get overwhelmed. Just take it one step at a time, because there is no sense in trying to cram all of this information and it's not going to stay in your mind if you stress yourself out, right? So yes, that was my tips for learning human anatomy. And yeah, so that's that part. The second part is some tips for medical coding students to stay motivated. I've been getting lots of emails from people that are going through the course and their teacher may not be as hands-on, and that happens quite often. Like I said, when you guys are going to these trade schools, if you're going to trade schools, or even if you're going online, there's not going to be a lot of instruction. If you find a really good instructor at a trade school, then you're really lucky. You know, it doesn't always happen that way, because once the trade schools have your money, they're done. You know, they're going to give you what you paid for, but yeah, they're done. And that's just the way it is. I mean, I didn't have a lot of instruction either. When I was in school, I had somebody who was a coder that would come in like once a week and do a seminar and things like that, but that was about it. He maybe answered questions, but it wasn't like we were getting that hands-on critical thinking. You know, we didn't have that. So it was really on us. And a lot of times, you know, like I said, we as coders, we're tasked to learn these things on our own. And a lot of people get frustrated because it's like, why can't I get more hands-on training? Sometimes, you know, some people will not help because nobody helped them. Okay. I don't believe in that. I believe that we should all help each other. If you ask me for help, I will help. But at the same time, I expect for people to put their best foot forward, and a lot of people do. You know, they really are trying, which is why I do what I do, and which was the premise of starting the channel in the first place, because we have to learn things on our own. Why can't we talk to each other, you know, and have somebody who really loves it, which I do, and be able to share all this information. There's places like Facebook medical coding groups, which I strenuously disagree with, and I strenuously encourage everybody not to get involved in there, because while there may be some good people in those groups, they're not always going to be very supportive, and people can literally give up, you know, wanting to be a medical coder just because of what somebody said in the group, or maybe they're not getting any help and nobody in the group will help them, and they're just so ready to give up. Don't give up. You actually thought to do this on your own. You thought and you wanted to do it, and you got into the program. You spent all the money to do it. Don't just give up because you get frustrated, okay? There are different ways to learn. There are different ways to approach things. Sometimes we have to change our approach in order to get a better result. If you're doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result, and which is the thing that makes us as adults very anxious, because we are used to doing things a certain way, right? We're not used to thinking outside of the box, which is why I always encourage you guys that if I give you a study tip, like doing the flashcards, the handwritten flashcards, or listening to yourself, or like recording and listening to the playback later, so that way you can listen to, you can do auditory flashcards, you know. But if you sort of just go along with the suggestions, and it's not something that you normally do, it could possibly help you, right? Because this is something that's new for you, and your brain is getting tricked into thinking, oh, wait a minute, this is new. What is this? Why are we doing this? And then it'll start to remember, and that part will start to click, and then you can start to see some type of movement. But if you still stay in the same place and you don't try new things to learn, then that's when you have an issue. Now, I always suggest that if you are having trouble, you're struggling with understanding like surgeries and things like that, look on YouTube. There are so many videos about surgeries, and it really breaks it down. And if you can't find one right away, just keep searching, keep looking. That's what I did when I was looking up the mnemonic devices. In preparation for the show too. I looked up some more. But in the mnemonic devices, there are so many, and there's even people who do rap songs and things like that about all the bones in the body. I didn't find any that I particularly thought were catchy. That's why I didn't include any on here. But if you find one, I mean, by all means, that would be great. Or if you come up with your own little song, that's even better, because then you can sort of remember things that way as well. But guys, don't give up, and don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes when we think like our own self-talk is what gets us a lot of times. If we tell ourselves, I'm just not a good student and I don't really learn very well, your brain is like, okay, we're not a good student and we don't learn very well. We're going to do this. We are not a good student and we don't learn very well. We're going to stay with that. That's when you need to flip the switch and be like, I'm confused, but it's okay. I can do this. Then your brain's like, okay, we can. Yes, I can do this. And it's really hard, but I'm going to try my best. And that's all I can do. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Your brain and your mind and your body connect so much. I cannot even tell you guys. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how much your mind and your brain and your body are all connected as one. And because of this, right, you have to change how you talk about yourself. Because believe me, there's going to be people out there who will try to keep you from your dreams, who will tell you you're not smart. Because I knew some ladies that I went to school with that their partners, their parents told them, you're not smart enough, honey. I don't know why you're doing this. They actually told them this. And then I knew a lady, she was like, oh yeah, my old man says that I'm not smart. What the heck? Why would you allow somebody to tell you that? You are smart. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to do medical coding, great. If you are doing another healthcare field or whatever and you want to be a medical assistant, wonderful. You can, okay? I don't want to sound like a cheerleader or whatever, but it's true. And I think a lot of people sort of dismiss it as adults. Oh, that's just for kids talk. That's kids stuff. No, it's not. We all need to hear from time to time that we are doing good, that we are smart enough, that we can do this. Because nobody can pass that test but you. Okay? Nobody can pass that test but you. Don't let all the hours that you're spending studying or trying to put yourself out there so that you can learn, don't let all of that go to waste. Okay? Just make sure that you are really putting forth a good effort. And I have seen people who I can tell by the questions that they ask who's going to do it and who's not. Unfortunately, I can spot it now. And it is something that when I see it, sometimes I'll hear people say, I can't do it. And I'm thinking, yes, this person can. They just need a little bit of motivation. They need somebody that's positive to say, yes, they can. And I can tell. And then I see ones that they're in it for the money and that's what they want. And okay, good luck to you, because this field is not a field for people who are in it for the money. You're using your brain. It's not just about being in school. And it's not just about passing your test. Once you get out in the real world, oh yeah, get ready. Buckle up, because you have to be ready for the providers. You have to be ready for the staff. You have to be ready for your supervisor. You have to be ready for other medical coders. Because that's something I have not even talked about really in depth. I have talked about some stories. I haven't done a story time with you guys in a while, but I haven't really talked about my coworkers because not a lot. I have done some, but not a lot. And the reason is that I sort of kind of put that to the side because I really want to concentrate on medical coding. But it is part of it, being in this environment of being a medical coder. It does. And if you have not been in the workforce in a long time and you are ready and you're finishing up school and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to get back out into the workforce. It is, I mean, coworkers, you're always going to have that one that you really like. And then there's going to be ones that you're just coworkers. And you're going to have that. But it is good. And the way that I look at it is, for me, I am there for support for my fellow coworkers, my fellow coders. They all know this. Some don't. Some are very hard-headed in the fact that, oh, I'll get it, and then I know they really don't have it because I've seen what they do, and it's just like I'm here offering myself, and I don't say it in a way that's going to make them feel bad, but just because it's an ego thing that they don't want to engage with me just because of that. And to me, that's unfortunate because it's not about you. It's not about you, the coder. It's about the facility. It's about the provider. It's about the patient. That's what that's about. That's where I put my focus. So that's where I put my focus. And so my work family is my clinic. It is all the providers in my clinic. It is the support staff. And it is all the people that I'm around on a daily basis. So I try to make sure that I put forth a good faith effort into making sure that people know that I am available for support as far as like my providers go, if they need help or whatever. But it and sometimes I get providers that say I can't do this. I don't know. No, you're not supposed to be the coder. I'm the coder. I just need you to do the documentation like you should. Okay. So it's all about your frame of mind. It is all about, how you want to look at things. Because if I went into work and I looked at it like, oh my gosh, these doctors have had all these years of schooling and I'm so intimidated and I can't talk to them, would I be as successful with my clinic as I am now? Probably not. So it's all about your mindset. And I had to get into that mindset of, okay, I can do this. I can talk to these people because I've had my head barked off too. And it's not the best feeling in the world, but the best feeling in the world is when I can turn that person around and get them to be motivated about actually documenting correctly. And I've had that. So, that's, again, it's all going to be about your mindset. So if you are a student out there and you're thinking, gosh, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Okay. Because I don't have a degree. Currently, I do not have a degree. So all you need is a high school diploma or a GED. And you have to have a willingness to study. Okay. And yeah, you may not get it right now. It may not make sense, but still put it in your mind that yes, you can do it. And don't say, well, I don't know if yes, you can. Yes, you can. You absolutely can do it. And that's how I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to keep harping on it. You guys heard me. I know you did. But I'm just saying, okay. I hope this helped. I know the stuff that I said was basic about learning human anatomy. I get it. But that is the basic part of it. Either you're going to learn by visualizing, you could put different pictures everywhere, or you can learn by reading the skeleton and saying it into your phone so that way you can play it back later, just like you do for terminology, medical terminology. That's just another way. So there's many ways of doing things. And like I said, learn those mnemonic devices because they will save you. I'm just saying. All right. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll share it. I hope that you will consider supporting me on Patreon. I do all kinds of stuff like this, and I am uploading more quizzes and more things on there, critical thinking exercises. I have one that I'm going to be uploading today. I did it. But if you're interested, just head on over to Patreon. I'll include the link down in the description box below. And I will see y'all on the next video. But if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.